Hi gorgeous, this is episode number 112 and we are having the wonderful Tanya Pluckrose back on the show.
Hi, this is Tanya Pluckrose. You are listening to Heart Cells, podcast with Schlonski. Enjoy.
I can't wait to deepen the conversation with Tanya today, where we talk about the great client experience and how this is key to your business. Before we dive in, I just want to make a shout out to all of our listeners in the United States, LA, California, and also in Germany, Stuttgart. Thank you so much for being here, for tuning in. Continuing the conversation with Tanya, you can find all the show notes, the transcripts, the resources we are talking about at christineschlonski.com under the podcast tab. And Tanya is an expert and thought leader about attracting and retaining high-value clientele. She helps business owners who struggle to sell their products and services with her 6-star selling system. And her company focuses on innovative ways in creating the right kind of client experience that increases sales, client acquisition, and retention. She's an international best-selling author of The Art of Selling to Women. And I'm so excited to have that conversation with her today because she brings so much experience to the table from working at Qantas Airline, combining all of that with her sales background, and that makes it a very, very special blend. So let's welcome Tanya back on the show. Well, I am so excited to have Tanya back on the show. Welcome.
Hello, Christine. It's so good to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I just loved our first interview and, all the experience you were able to make in your life with Qantas, with, being in management and be taking care of a team and giving all these customers such a wonderful customer experience is now coming in so handy on what you are teaching and how you show people to show up in their businesses and make a stronger impact on their clients, because often it's just we buy something, we come in, we have a transaction, money switches the owner, so to speak, or the product, and then it's gone. And you mentioned in the earlier interview that the customer experience is so important to also differentiate yourself. So
yes,
can you tell us a little bit more about the important maybe points to consider when we are setting out to have a look at what our customers are experiencing when they buy? And maybe some ideas of how to make it a better experience.
Sure. Oh, I'd love to. I would love to. So, like I mentioned earlier on, Qantas gave me the template. I just transported it into my own business solution, which was appearance, approach, and accountability. And I often notice that many entrepreneurs forget these 3 key areas and are more concerned, or companies are more concerned about the processes of, it's the sales cycle. So the sales cycle is the beginning part, the connecting part, then, which is they tend to stay more about the approach part of this template and forget about appearance and accountability. And when it comes to approach, many companies do well with getting to know you, then they go into the negotiating part, then the close. Yet they forget, what about the experience for the customer? And that's why it feels like a transaction, like a sale and then see you later, all the best, as opposed to really having that experience. So the experience for me is, first of all, the appearance part. And I feel appearance is whatever your brand is, dress for success according to your brand. Represent your brand with your appearance. A good example of where I saw a business coach undo herself was I attended a networking event, and there was we all passed around our business cards at a luncheon, and there was a woman to the left of me we all ended up taking, say, these business cards home. And I remember going home and saying, that woman next to me, where is her business card? I can't find it. What was her name again? Trying to look for it. And then it dawned on me that the business card she gave me with her picture on it did not represent her in any shape or form.
Wow.
The business card she had with the picture was of her 20 years prior, where she was very polished. She represented her brand magnificently 20 years ago as a successful businesswoman. But the woman next to me on that day had kind of let herself go. She had her hair out. She didn't dress in business attire. She hadn't made an effort. And I kept thinking to myself, you're sending mixed messages. I would never hire you because you're not, even though you say what you do, I know you're really good at it. Right now, you clearly are not feeling good about yourself. So how is that going to affect me working with you? I wouldn't choose to hire you. And that's what I'm saying to all your listeners. Make sure your brand, you are constantly selling yourself all the time. So make sure you represent your brand all the time. Sure, we have what we call in Australia tracky duck days where we put on our tracksuits. Yes, that's okay. But always remember that whenever you are attending networking events, or even if you're having a Zoom conversation with a prospective client, make sure your backdrop represents you. Make sure it's not the backdrop of a messy living room, because your prospective client is going to go, oh, look how untidy she is. Oh, that looks like a mess. I wonder if she's going to be someone I can work with, who's going to be reliable. Because remember, women constantly are looking at all the details.
Yes, good point.
All the details all the time, and they subconsciously pick them all up and then make a decision based on those details as to whether they want to work with you or not. So that's a really good example about appearance.
Yeah.
And
When I just want to throw in something real quick, because it's Hard Sales Podcast is an audio podcast, but if you would have the chance to see us right now, you would see how beautifully Tanya is set up. Like everything fits, like it's authentic, it's congruent. When I checked her homepage and then we connected, that's what I got. So everything fits. And I would really suggest, like, be authentic. If you are not the woman, for example, who loves to wear pink, then don't wear it, right? Show up as yourself and make it easier for yourself, because if you are you and the customer is always buying you and your energy first, then it's so much easier than when we come up with an image of what we think we have to be or we have to do. And you write a lot about this in your book as well, The Art of Selling.
Selling to Women. Yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to point that out, that you walk your talk, and I'm so fascinated, seeing that. And I also had the experience you just described, where I had, a business card with a picture and I couldn't put it together either, because it was maybe 10, 20 years old, the picture on that business card, or it was photoshopped in such a way that it did not represent the person I have met. So if you are listening and you feel like that might be you, do something about it real quick, because people buy your authenticity.
They do, very much. They do.
Yeah.
And remember the details. Remember, that's all I can say. Go deep with the details.
Especially women. Yeah.
Especially if your clients are women, because that's what they subliminally notice. I mean, why do you think women keep their homes so clean and tidy? They know when it's the week's up and they've got to dust. They can see dust a mile away. So if they're so, have such a keen eye for detail at home, why wouldn't they have it with you prior to wanting to work with you? Like always make sure that you're showing up with that, especially if you're charging a high ticket item. because the value doesn't just come with your results. The value comes also with everything else tied in.
Such a great advice. Such a great advice. Let me just repeat it. The value comes also with everything else.
Yeah.
You're always buying the whole package. So
Correct. Yeah, you are. You are. And often people will buy, you often, if you've shown great attention to detail and great value before the purchase, with the way you've connected and all the little details, people actually will actually not want to negotiate the price, because they can see with your subliminal messages that you are a woman of integrity, a woman of your word, with the way your attention to detail is all about. That's what I've discovered. People often don't want to negotiate because they can see, wow.
Yeah. I totally agree. It's just a question, well, how, put it on my credit card, or can I have a payment plan? Because they already know they want to work with you. And I think that's a beauty as well, when you are authentic, when you stop putting so much effort into being someone that you are not.
Correct.
Then life becomes so much easier for everybody.
It does. It does.
I think that's super important. That's a very important point to talk about, because especially with women, they have a different way of feeling and a different way of seeing details, right? There have been enough studies when you come into a home and you would then ask the man, like, how was the room set up? They would have difficulties because they didn't really care. And the woman will tell you exactly, oh, there was a painting to the left and they had this dresser to the right.
Right.
And they had the pictures of their kids or whatever. They know that. And it's not something they make up. It's just the way it is. We women have this longing for beauty and for details in this area, right? When you talk to a guy about a car and all the technical details, I will hear it, but I'm not gonna remember it 5 minutes later. And my husband probably knows every single detail they talked about the engine and the tires and whatever. I could care less. So this is so important that people get that. And it's beautiful that you have written that book, The Art of Selling to Women, because it is a huge difference. So when you have women as your ideal client, you need to pay attention to this. And then the customer experience comes in it as well, because we always want to feel great.
Yeah, we do. So true. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you continue on that, because I did.
So the appearance part. So that and even for any of your listeners who actually work in showrooms, I often say, especially in the car industry, I often walk in and it's very sterile. But make most of the purchasing decisions and a woman influences the purchase of a car around 68%. And I've always been flabbergasted that when you walk in, it's like a boys' club. It's like I always think it looks so sterile. If only these companies would furnish their showrooms more towards a feel of a living room than of a male, I guess it would be like a trophy room. If they would furnish them more with soft furnishings, a couch, a round table, always have a round table, don't have square tables, especially like if you are selling insurance, or don't have a square table to do a deal, have a round table, because women really look at that as equality. It's about equality, it's about collaboration. I love going into all these details. It's these fine little things that make such a difference to closing the sale a lot quicker. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And and then for me, it's always about the welcome, what sort of welcome you give. What does it take to take if you know your client's coming to your store for the day or coming to your office space, why wouldn't you put a notice board outside downstairs with a big billboard sign? Welcome, Tanya Pluckrose. Pop upstairs. This is where put a little sign downstairs. I mean, to even start off recognizing that client coming to your office on the pavement, on the curbside, is just such a wow factor for women, that they love that you already are starting to celebrate them before they've even to your office space.
Yeah, you said something beautiful, celebrate them.
Yeah, celebrate them.
Yes,
Because they find it,
yeah, I just love that.
well, women find it very hard to celebrate themselves, and because they're such great caretakers. And it's so refreshing. Oh my God, it's so refreshing when someone does it for them and just acknowledges them and appreciates them. Because often their family and themselves, they, take them for granted, take women for granted. And so it's so nice when someone just goes that extra mile. And I'm saying you don't have to spend a fortune. It's the small little things that make a difference, a big difference.
Yeah, it can just be a phone call telling the person that they are excited to see the next day or something, or
Yeah,
like a little flip chart with the name,
that's right.
right? Or so often we already have digitalized boards, so you just need to punch it in.
That's right. It's
Right?
simple as that. Or find out what her coffee is before she arrives.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then when she arrives, it's a steaming cup of her favorite frothy latte sitting on the table. Hi, come on in. Here's a cup of coffee. I know this is her. I mean, that's what Qantas taught me, all about anticipating the unexpressed needs of your clients. And the more you can do that with the things that are important to her, she becomes your raving fan, and she becomes your marketing campaign during the customer journey you have with her, and afterwards. And afterwards, she then starts to send referrals to you, because by word of mouth, because she never forgets how you made you feel. And most companies are not doing this. And yes, it does. It's not. It's not expense. It's not hard work. It's just a little bit more effort. That's how you've got to just look at it. But you've got to look at the bonus. Look at you're going to have coming to you if you go out of your way with these little extras.
Yeah, and it creates a much nicer experience for yourself as well,
It
right? You
does.
already can feel how happy the potential customer is, or client, and then, but it also requires knowing who you are serving. So getting that clarity is super, super important. So in your blueprint, or how did you call it?
Say that again.
Your system, your blueprint, like the three
My
things.
blueprint is the 3 A's: appearance, approach, and accountability.
Okay,
That's
so
my template I always work by.
so we talked about that. So what would you say around accountability then?
And accountability for me is all really about the follow-up. The follow-up. You want to continue to keep the stickiness happening between you and your client, because it's the stickiness that drives referrals. So for me, the follow-up, you see, when you start working with a prospective client, I often say in my book, I say, always listen to the chitter chatter. Listen to a woman, because she will tell you what's important to her. So, and so for some, it may be an experience. For some, they like experiences. Others prefer more value with regards to, they really enjoy if you give them an extra hour. So listen to what's really important to them and then start following up. So what I would do is, if the customer journey finished with a client and I finished working with them for 3 months, I will always remember what was important to her. So if she's a mum with 3 kids, and she told me that Saturday mornings is a busy time for her because it's always sports, and I'd find out what her kids like, then maybe even 3 months after we finish working, I might just send her tickets to a football game or a basketball game, or it may be that they like eating out. So 3 months later, I would go, hey, I've just sent you a $50 voucher. Go and have dinner at your local. I know how much you love eating out with your kids. Here's a voucher. Go off and have that. That's the follow-up. It's those small little touch touch points, touching her when she least expected with things that she values. That's what I call the follow-up. It's the follow-up I've noticed is it's not just during the customer journey, which may be, look, we've just had a juicy session on Monday. You seemed quite upset during it. Look, it's Thursday. I've got an hour. Let's just get on a call. I'm not charging you for this, but I want to see if you're okay. Or let me just see if I can, see if you're okay. I've got to spare half an hour. By you adding that little extra value, that just makes her heart sing, that you're showing you really, really care. So the follow-up doesn't just happen at the end. It can happen also during the customer journey with her. And that's the accountability part of it.
Yeah, I just love that. And I have created that experience for my clients. They all have, when we work one-on-one, the opportunity to, send WhatsApp or emails and have like emergency calls. In case, something's coming up and they might have a call where they're not quite sure how to prepare or something. So I always offer that, knowing that my ideal customer, they will not do that every week, right? They will really be mindful of my time as well.
Yeah.
But it's such a nice extra that's so appreciated because I'm going out of my way, which so many people don't. And it's beautiful. It's exactly what you just mentioned, to make sure they are all right, to make sure that you are there to help them to be their next successful version. And
Correct.
I know that you've been working really, really hard over the last months to get together amazing experts teaching and supporting you with your mission, because it's such a big mission that you thought, well, get in even more people to see it from different angles. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I would love to, Christine. So I decided that I have my template, but I also want to acknowledge some heart-centered sellers out in the world who are doing a phenomenal job changing the landscape of selling. What I love is it's so refreshing that there are also like-minded entrepreneurs and business owners out there that believe that selling isn't just processes. It also are other ways to sell your products and services. So I did put together 21 experts, and I asked them to come on board and share their opinion in selling. The actual name of the interview series was The Art of Selling to Women: How to Connect, Engage, and Sell to the Female Consumer. But what I love was that these people came on and really talked about not just their opinion in selling, but gave some very, very unusual methodologies I had never thought of that could support anyone to take their perception of selling to another level, to really start to enjoy selling, to really see it as a divine appointment with another person. And they also gave some incredible tools. And it even supported me to grow my template in selling. And that's what I put together. And you were included on that because I love your unique and refreshing proposition to selling that is really from the heart. It's not from the head. And that's what I feel is the new landscape to selling. In order to stand out, because we live in such a busy world where it's becomes all about the acquisition, the sale, but not the retention part. And the people like yourselves understand that sales isn't just about the acquisition, it's about the retention as well. And that's what this whole series is all about.
Yeah, I loved our interview, and but that's not why we're mentioning it.
I know, but I wanted to also just say that you were included in this as one of those who really comes from that place of authenticity and heart-centeredness about mastering the art of selling.
Yeah, so you got together all these amazing experts.
I did.
I know how much work is involved due to my own master classes, and you did such a phenomenal job. So I'm going to put the link for people to check it out in the show notes as well. So
Great.
just like one click away, and then people can go to your website where they find all the information on your event, as well as tips and advice, and where they can check out your beautiful website to get even a deeper understanding. And that is by going to www.tanyapluckrose.com.
That's right. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on Hard Sells. This was such a wonderful interview. And, I guess I could continue for hours because you deliver so much value. And I just love the way you look at like service on a deeper level, so that people can be wowed away, that they have this wonderful experience, that they want to tell everybody what happened. And, by doing that, sending customers to you or to whoever is able to provide that outstanding experience. And I think that is what makes a business even more successful, is creating these relationships with, people saying, I had this wow experience and I'm so happy and delighted. And when that happens, life becomes easy.
It does, very much. And it becomes just a natural thing you do in the end.
Yeah. And I don't know, I would guess you feel the same way, but for me, this is so much fun. Seeing people when they can't believe that you just did this little extra for them, or they did not see it coming. And they are just, they sent you a beautiful message. And whenever I see that, I'm just so in awe myself, because it's so much fun to give that little extra and to really go that so-called extra mile. And it doesn't need to feel like an extra mile, right?
Not at all. No, not at all. But it's all about, I guess, Bob Berg's teachings, really, from the Go-Giver series.
Yeah. It's also in your wonderful.
It is. Yeah.
We both are fans of the Go-Giver.
Yeah.
And that's such an important book or book series. I have every single one. And so thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. And people must have gotten so much out of it, because I made some mental notes. So that's really beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to the next opportunity to interview you more.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Tanya touched a very, very important key today, the great client experience. And I'm quite sure if you're listening, you have had not so great client experiences in your life. And you probably told yourself that this is not going to happen to you again. So I think it's wonderful to learn from Tanya, from all her experience at Qantas Airline, and to really see how she was able to tweak and adjust the sales experiences for her clients so that client retention becomes easy, right? If you create raving fans, you just have an easier way to create revenue, to create value, to follow your heart. And I think Tanya's example is a really wonderful example of deep care for your clients, of where to look and what to adjust in your business so it really comes from your heart, because we all know heart sells. Please share the love for Hard Sells podcast with a couple of your friends, maybe with your business partners, and make sure that we can create this movement together of hard sellers who make the world a better place by deeply caring for their clients and by making sure that they get the outcome they desire and have a wonderful sales experience. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world, and bye for now.